I'm going to go with my first real bet that I have made. Disclaimer, I don't put much money on these. These are like $5 units I'm putting on these. First bet that I did make, UNC to the Sweet 16 plus 630. So it looks like UNC is, unless an absolute miracle happens for San Diego State, North Carolina is going to win in the first four matchup, setting up a matchup on Friday that will be
against Ole Miss.
Yeah, I was just wondering why it wasn't coming up against Ole Miss, a team that I haven't loved, and that in my bracket I have Iowa State losing to Lipscomb. So then I'd have North Carolina taking on Lipscomb. If you're telling me that pick is plus 630, give me the heels.
It's a great pick. I might take that. I might trail that. That's a good pick. I don't do to make Sweet 16 bets. I usually just play, the
Because
first
they're
round
terrible
games.
ideas. None of these are actually going to end up working out for me. You know that.
That's true. I tend to go like this: favorite, dog, point spread, high money line, and over and an under. But there were two games I liked a lot that point spread wise I wanted to get into. So I'll start with this: Arkansas plus 4.5 versus Kansas. I think Kansas stinks. I think they stink on ice. I think they're terrible. I think they're gross. And Nikki just said it to us, and I believe it to be true. All the pressure in the world is on Coach Cal. All the pressure in the world is on this man. And I think they cover. I think they win outright. I think Kansas has been on the wrong side of it for a while now. Arkansas, I think, can beat them outright, but at least cover. So give me Arkansas plus 4.5.
Yeah, that's a good one. The pressure really is on Cal. Boogie Flam
Yep.
looks like he's going to play, and Kansas has been just really disappointing, frankly. They've had a very disappointing year. You can't sugarcoat it. Starting off the year, number one overall, you have a big win over Cooper Flag and Duke early on in the season, and then you just kind of stumble throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I'll just run through two more of my to win picks and not game or over under picks. So I really liked Texas Tech to win the Western region. I don't have them winning it, but
You
to
don't.
win their region, they're the 3 seed. The 2 is St. John's. The 1 is Florida. Texas Tech to win the West, plus 550. I think that Florida is an overwhelming favorite to win that. They're minus money. So you're betting Florida versus the field, basically.
Yeah.
And I picked Maryland. I think Maryland is a really underrated team. But there are, for Texas Tech, what you're getting with the Red Raiders, which is consistent defense every single game, they're never going to let up. JT Toppin just made second team All-American, I want to say.
Correct.
He's been shooting the ball lights out as of late. So Texas Tech to win the West, plus 550. I like that. And then another one that kind of conflicts with that, but also doesn't, because both can be correct, but then my bracket would be incorrect. Maryland to go to the Elite Eight. So that would just require them winning their round one matchup against Grand Canyon, then beating Colorado State, who I have beating Memphis, and then the matchup against Florida. So I feel pretty confident they can get through the round of 64 and the round of 32. If they can beat Florida in the Sweet 16, plus 470, I like it. I like it.
Okay. A lot of people like Arizona. I like Akron to cover plus 13.5. Akron plays what I described as a Missoula ball light. They average at least 10 threes made a game. Arizona has only made 10 or more threes 6 times this whole year. And so Akron also outshoots their opponents in the whole season by 200 three-pointers. They take a lot more than their opponents and they make more. That's not necessarily a recipe to win. Arizona's much bigger than Akron is, and I understand that. But if Akron can knock down threes and force Arizona to be uncomfortable, they can cover 13.5. And I'm not saying Akron can win, but I actually could see this game going kind of like how Oakland played Kentucky last year, where if they're hitting shots and they're going to be taking shots, they can cover 13.5. They might not be able to win, but 13.5 for the Akron Zips, sign me the fuck up for that.
That's interesting because I have an Akron versus Arizona bet on my board.
Oh.
They, again, not all of the lines are posted because 2 of the first 4 games have not been played. But as of now, Akron versus Arizona is the highest total. 166.5 is the total for that game. As you said, Akron shoots a hell of a lot of threes. And Arizona, although they are not a great three-point shooting team, they're ranked 12th in adjusted offensive efficiency. So they can score the ball even if they're not
big.
raining threes. They got big guys. They always have good big
Always
guys.
athletes. Yep.
So I'm going to go with the over in that game.
like
Over 166.5 points in Arizona
that.
versus Akron.
I like that. I have an over for you. Gonzaga versus Georgia, over 150.5. Georgia's a young team, but they're going to play fast. Gonzaga averages, I believe, over 85 points a game.
Yep.
Like they can,
One of
they
the
can,
best
they can,
offenses.
they can score. And SEC teams, especially in March, I feel like they put up points. So 8 versus 9, competitive game. I think the Zags are 4.5-point favorites, but give me the over in that game, 150.5. This is going to be a shootout. If I may go again, I have an under. Creighton, Louisville, under 145.5. We saw Creighton at the Big East tournament. They can stink it up. They can really stink it up.
And they did. And they did in the game
And
that we watched.
I think this game could be a little ugly. I like the cards. I was talking to Omar. Omar likes the cards getting to the Sweet 16, which means they'd have to beat Auburn.
Ooh.
And I don't know if they can do that. And I'm picking Louisville to win, but I just think it's going to be kind of an ugly, gross game. Yeah, so give me the under 145.5 in that game against Creighton. That's going to be a bit of a shootout, I think. And I'm sorry, not a shootout, a fist fight.
The opposite of a shootout.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to throw an under right back in your face.
Mm-hmm.
The lowest number on the board is 125.5, Houston versus SIU. And I went back. So Houston's been a 1 seed. This is the third straight year.
Yep.
1 year it went over that number. 1 year it went under that number. SIU, the 4th worst offensive team in the tournament. Houston's just got a bunch of pit bulls on the perimeter. Kelvin Sampson knows how to get his guys motivated. Houston has been a 1 seed before, and they've kind of fallen short basically every time.
Every time.
So I think they want to come out with a level of physicality and intensity and, not just we had a nice 15 to 20 point win, typical for a 1 seed. I think Kelvin Sampson wants his guys to hold them to like 10 points at the half. I think he wants to strangle them. Really, I think he does. So under 125.5, Houston, SIU.
Last bet for me, I'm going to go straight money line here for an underdog. Give me Drake plus 220. I was looking at the point spread, which I like.
I had the exact same thing.
But give me their money line straight up. I think they're going to beat Missouri. I do. I have no faith in that team, and I think Drake is well coached. There's some bulletin board material. I'm not sure if you heard the news that their coach last year, who left to take the West Virginia job, just got hired to coach Indiana, and I can see that being a motivating thing. I also think Drake's just a good basketball team, as we talked about with Nikki earlier in the show. So give me their money line plus 220. I think they're going to beat up on Missouri.
I haven't believed in Missouri since the days of Flip Presley. If y'all remember, you remember him back in like 2012.
Yeah,
that's a guy. That's a name. Those Missouri teams were badass going up against Kansas.
Missouri. Who was the 15 seed that beat them? Because Missouri was a 2 year.
Oh, yeah.
And I picked that in my bracket. I'll never forget my greatest March Madness pick ever. Look that up for me, and I'll ramble for a sec. But yeah, I can go off. I can go off here. So another one, Norfolk State, Kylo Quinn, as I mentioned before, Norfolk State beat Missouri. Love that.
So a couple here. I have Drake as well to win straight up. Baylor plus 100. You're getting plus money on what I think is the better team with the best player in the game with more experience than Mississippi State. Give me Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
I like McNeese plus 7.5 against Clemson.
I was looking at that one. That's a nice one there. That feels juicy.
I feel like Clemson's the kind of team that could I think they'll win, but I think they can get shocked. They're that 5-12 there. that's totally a spot where I could see, oh, McNeese has a heave to send the game to overtime, but it just misses. So give me McNeese plus 7.5. And then I also have Texas Tech minus 15.5 against UNC Wilmington. I really like Texas Tech. I don't know why I said Maryland's going to win that division. Going through it, like everything that I'm saying and thinking right now has me pointing to Texas Tech.
Yeah, it's
So I have them meeting in the Elite Eight, but maybe I'll change my mind and go with Texas Tech before the dance kicks off. So those are my real bets.
Love it. So let's flash the cards real quick on the screen here. So my bets: Arkansas plus 4.5 against Kansas, Drake plus 220 money line, Akron plus 13.5 against Arizona, Gonzaga versus Georgia over 150.5, and Creighton v Louisville under 145.5.
Then I've got a bunch: Texas Tech to win the Western region, North Carolina to advance to the Sweet 16, Maryland to advance to the Elite Eight, and then I've got Arizona Akron over. I've got Houston SIU under. I've got Drake to win straight up. I've got McNeese to cover 7.5 against Clemson. I've got Baylor to win straight up plus 100. And then I have Texas Tech to cover minus 15.5.